I love how your head shot up like that.
Why did you not tell me that the Dark Tower film was so good?
It is, but it isn't all at the same
If
time.
you liked the film,
Yeah.
you're going to love the books.
Okay.
The film is kind of like the...
I've had the first one. First one's good.
The film is very much the Cliff Notes version of the Dark Tower. But how good is Matthew McConaughey?
Yes. Yes.
He's
Really good.
absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah. Just
And Jackie O'Haley. And Idris Elba giving...
Stop breathing.
Alright, we're done. Kill each other. So let's have a shuffle.
Do we have our lobbies?
Yeah, the box, the things next drawer down.
Lobbies. That's their technical term.
Lobbies.
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 Thomas, could you cut the deck, please?
Oh no.
No, because this game isn't Magic.
What is it?
What were we just talking about?
I think there's a 3-letter word beginning with TPK.
In the words of Chris Perkins, I'm a kind and humble and merciful DM. It's all on you.
For a second I thought sorcery said sorry.
Sorry.
Which book is it that has the card? So we are the one of secrets.
I think I'm secret. No, I'm mysteries.
And secrets.
Secrets. Ah, that's a big ship.
So grey magic is increased and indigo magic is diminished.
Hey, my plasma teleport would have increased then. That's great, isn't it?
I don't know, it's on your... No,
What's that?
it's... Grey is... That's from last week. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
So we talk a lot about the sun, but the moon has as much influence over our lives. It just does more. It just does it more subtly and quietly. The moon is stealthy. It comes at night. It hides amid the treetops and behind tall buildings. Its light is soft and dim. The moon hides so that it can peer ahead unnoticed and catch a glimpse of even those things it should not see. The ever-changing moon reflects our changing nature, our bodies and our minds. It represents intuition. The moon is present when we feel more than we think, when something just feels right or feels wrong. This might be the moon's influence. It also represents inspiration, a sudden new idea. A new NPC arrives. An NPC has an idea. The PCs learn of a new NPC they can talk to in order to get some insight. This game isn't Magic.
Not at all.
Nope.
Do you want to do Charlie's
Yeah.
big bits?
Maybe it's.
Lobbies.
Her lovely bits are there. Doing quite well. Sorted out Charlie's lovely bits. Checked out her rack today.
It's a mighty impressive rack. It's a 4-row rack and it's quite full.
That it is.
I've been
We
in
broke
the
the DM already.
I've been in the car with Luke all day.
Innuendo galore.
It's innuendo.
Innuendo.
Could you pass me a pencil, please?
No.
Thank you, Thomas. You shall die first.
Here, no.
Expanded spell effects by level for weavers and whatever.
Yeah.
After this quest line, I'll be able to get my spider alcohol.
If you've learnt all the requisite.
Yeah, I didn't think I've got much left. I could always spend time training for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they've got concentrated emotions at the. I'm pretty sure Hawk could make me some concentrated emotion.
I probably own concentrated emotion. I could
Can I
go do.
leave some more coffee, please?
And your concentrated emotion is needed happiness.
I have mantis.
I think Roland would kill me if I ate his mantis.
Roland doesn't cry.
I've got
He just
desire
scowls
emotion.
in unhappy.
Not emotion of desire.
I don't think I need desire.
Well, I'm going on a shopping trip at some point. You ever have plans for the day and suddenly it's 4 PM and you've achieved literally nothing. That's life.
Bought some phones the other day.
Ooh.
No, 'cause he's-
Yeah. Well,
Have you seen the one that's like a kind of Metal Gear Solid stealth thing, but they're all animals? So it's like a tiger who's the secret agent and runs up to a kind of weasel security guard and snaps its neck. And then it runs up to the next one, it's an owl, and it ties its neck all the way around. Oh no!
check out the background. I got
That is quite arty. But I recognise that horrible government issue desk anywhere.
Yeah. Am I countdown?
Overtime is Tina time.
It is. I'll be doing more of it this week.
Right. So let's see if you guys can get back to.
I gave up writing stuff eventually because it was just so much was going on.
We're in a pub.
You are in a pub.
We're in the King's End,
You are.
which is imagine in a somewhat wobbly, touristy, non-Z related version of
Check
London.
out the ladies.
It is all a little bit wiggly wobbly.
When you say check out the ladies, I mean
Toilet.
toilet. Okay.
But it's Hawk, so probably. Pansexual all the way. Woo!
Poor Pan.
Oh, no.
Good boy.
That's it, I can't do that noise. Yeah, bye.
You're such a silly, shaggy old smelly thing.
Caffeinated drink, Dad?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I've had rather a few today.
I'm going to need more.
I've been off work.
I might do like lots of espressos and it's like, oh, Michael Cole's on screen.
Baby.
I know you're going to do the was it the cultaholic drinking rules?
No.
But it's espressos for every instead of a sip of alcohol.
We do need to pop to the shops on the way home because we need to do
Okay. I'm just kind of hoping that somebody absolutely loses the plot and goes all attitude era chair shot on somebody.
Seth on Brock.
Yeah.
22 unprotected share shots to the head.
Seth gets the call 5 minutes before the match is due to start that despite what they had planned, he's now doing the job to balk in a 5-minute squash match.
Squash match.
Squash match. Seth decides he's just going to no-sell everything that Bork does.
Yeah, but then Bork would go all Bork on him.
Yeah, but CrossFit Jesus will just sort of
Has
like, you know,
Bork actually
capital
done
out
anything
of it.
since last WrestleMania?
No.
I didn't think so.
I mean, technically, yeah, but really, no.
No.
He's drawn a ridiculous paycheck.
Yeah. To do F all.
The sooner he's out of the business, the better.
Have you seen the John Oliver thing?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you know John Oliver at all? He's a British guy, but
Okay.
he was kind of one of Jon Stewart's kind of like correspondent people on the the Late Show with Jon
Okay.
Stewart sort of thing. And then he left that a few years ago and got his own show last week tonight with John Oliver, and it's kind of a sort of current affairs show, and it's on every Sunday, and it's usually it's kind of like a 40-minute show, and it's him
It's
looking
good.
at a particular topic about something that's happened and stuff. And it's won loads of Emmys, and they do a lot of research, but it's very, very funny.
Colbert mocks him on a regular thing.
And he's really good friends with Stephen Colbert and all that sort of stuff. So last week's episode was about the WWE, and it's absolutely atrocious employee treatment of employees, because of the fact that everybody is treated as a subcontractor, and they're all private, so they don't have to pay medical and this and that and the other thing, and all of the CTE and all of the people that have died young and died of all sorts of stuff. And Vince was not pleased.
You can imagine.
And Vince started saying that he was going to sue him for libel.
But
But apparently somebody from WWE Legal had to sit him down and explain to him that all he's done is accurately report our kind of employee relations policies, and that's not libel just because it's not very nice.
sounds like somebody else, like just because you don't like what it says.
Yeah, like Bob Murray or something the guy's name was. He's the head of like a big energy company, drilling for oil and all that sort of stuff. And John Oliver did a kind of expose of him a couple of years ago, and Murray sent him a cease and desist. And John Oliver's like, we are going to neither cease nor desist. We're going to tell you, this story.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got sued, and the judge just basically laughed the lawsuit out of court. It's like, his First Amendment rights are there. All of this is researched. He gave you and your company, the right to apply, and so if Vince really does want to try and sue him,
He's screwed.
he's going to be in a bit of trouble. But a load of people have noticed that this week Triple H has all of a sudden been very, very, very busy on social media talking about, this and that and the other thing, and the timing of the Ciampa video with them all looking after him and rallying around him like, not good. Not good.
I have, like I say,
So your secrets and your secrets. Is Thomas' secrets?
no.
No, they are both mysteries.
Okay.
They are both
Secrets enhanced or diminished?
Secrets are enhanced.
So technically speaking, they are supposed to be kind of really stoic and empathic about, really stoic about things, and we're supposed to be the gallant adventurers and go and thing off. I got to play last night. There's a on Discord server. There's like a group. There's one of the channels for this kind of sandbox game, and the idea is that there'd be multiple GMs, multiple players, and you can kind of jump in and out as and when you're available, and anybody could step into GM for you. So I did character creation with a new player the other day, and we kind of went through that, and that was kind of cool. And then I said, I'm going to be free after 8 o'clock yesterday evening. A couple of people said, I should be about. And the guy that set the thing up said, I think I might be available just to pop in and out. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. And then nobody else turned up apart from this other guy, and we rolled the dice for it, and he won, but he chose to GM for me. Hey.
I don't know though. After last time, I quite enjoy jamming. I don't know how long I'd be able to sustain it for, but maybe we'll find out. Depends how well you guys do today.
This is a particularly easy game to GM because a lot of the effort comes from this side.
Yeah.
There's been sessions where I've just been sat there listening to you guys chatting, and it's like, okay, that's what's happening. Yeah, I'm going to go with that suggestion.
Yeah, there is a bit of that. My notes for this week are less comprehensive than last week. To be fair, you got through most of what I kind of prepared, but we'll see.
I know we had a conversation afterwards. I can't remember what we said.
Nope.
We're pretty...
All I know is you haven't figured it out yet.
No, I know. I really still don't know. Memories as fuck.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
There was so much you take that back. I'm a child.
Game of Thrones thing, but
I know. I'm Winter. Damn it, and I'm coming along to kick your ass. No, I'm not. I can't kick anyone's ass right now.
no, because you haven't got the requisite legness.
One hip that pops out and one knee that bends the wrong way.
Oh, it was hard today because the floor in the school in Bournemouth is this really weird. It's in a school gym, but it's like a hard kind of concrete floor, and then there's like a layer of padding, I guess, and then there's vinyl over the top of it, and like the vinyl moves a little bit on top of the gel, and also because the vinyl's super grippy, you kind of stick to the vinyl, so
Like doing catering connections.
a little bit. Oh, no, there was one point doing the kata where I've got my knee's been playing up the last couple of weeks, and Luke has got a really bad hip. He's got osteoarthritis in his hip. He's 33.
Oh.
Yeah, and so he's having some kind of problems at the minute. And both of us said at the end of the session, it was okay, but there were a couple of points where you're trying to pivot and your foot just doesn't move, and your momentum is taking you one way and the foot stays. And that's exactly how I tore my meniscus.
Pivot.
And that was on a nice good wooden floor, so it was like, I'm being a little bit cautious today. And it just feels weird. It's like you're walking on, I can't really describe it. Like a mattress, but a mattress that's only a centimetre thick. It's really strange. It's a weird feeling.
Hard bed with just a mattress topper.
Kind of.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or like a futon that's been covered in rubber.
I wonder what that's for. For the school.
Well, it's good grip. It's because it's a primary school, so it's grippy. So I'm guessing it's so the kids, when they're running around, don't slip.
If they fall, it's slightly squishy.
And if they fall, it's slightly squishy. But it wasn't a very big hall either. I remember it being bigger, so I've been there before. But yeah, well, it was pretty good. Come back, Thomas. You are the sacrifice. Oh, do I do that? Hobson's choice right at the end. 3 of you may leave. 1 of you must stay. No, I'm not going to do that.
I'd stay.
Oh, what else has been going on in the world? Sekiro is amazing, but monstrously hard.
Mm-hmm. There's been a massive thing on Twitter about people play easy modes in games. It's like, you're not a real gamer if you play on easy mode.
I always play on easy mode because I can't play any other way.
You want to enjoy the game and the story.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with difficulty modes. Like God of War, I played it through the first time on normal mode, and I've replayed it a couple of times. And this time through, it was like, do you know what? I'm just going to stick it on easy, and I'm on New Game Plus.
Because you tried
So
thingy mode, didn't you? You were like,
so I'm on New Game Plus, so I've got all of my cool items and stuff. And it's like, I'm going to play on easy mode and just feel immensely powerful and wade through all of these enemies. And I'm still having loads of fun because, like, ha 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 ha, smack.
Borderlands 3. I haven't been psyched for a computer game for a long time.
Are you on PlayStation Plus? Oh, because Conan Exiles is one of the free games this month.
Yeah.
And I've downloaded it and had a quick go with Chris yesterday, and I've not really played any survival games before. He has. And it seems interesting enough. I would probably get bored after a little while.
I pulled down one called Paladins that lasted for about 5 minutes then when I realised it was like an arena online only game. And Warframe, but that was just...
You played Warframe.
I played Warframe a little while.
It looked nice, but whatever. And Terra, which is a replica that I had on my PC for a short period of time.
There's a game that's on PSN, I'm not sure how much it is, called The Messenger, which looks like a kind of sort of 8-bit style retro homage to kind of like Ninja Gaiden and all of that stuff.
Okay.
And so you're like, you know, a ninja wearing kind of purple, running from left to right, jumping and slashing and doing all sorts of stuff, which looks quite cool. But then I saw a trailer for Cyber Shadow,
I've seen it
which
before.
isn't out yet, which is a very similar sort of thing, but that looks amazing. Really cool retro graphics.
Guess what?
It's like,
You're allowed to be because you're a teenager, and that's a teenager's prerogative.
Playing Borderlands. It's got the Handsome Collection, so I'm playing the pre-sequel at the moment because I've got, I think, about halfway through Borderlands 2 on the Xbox, and apparently they're doing a remaster kind of Game of the Year edition of Borderlands 1 with all the DLC for the current gen consoles, so I might pick that up. And Borderlands 3.
Well, I currently not sure whether we'll ever get Dragon Age 4 at the moment, where BioWare is at the moment. Oh dear.
yeah, the whole BioWare Anthem thing has not gone well. Kotaku did a
Ripped a new one.
They interviewed a bunch of people that worked on Anthem, and the game was in development for 7 years, but actually it's only been in development for 12 to 16 months. It was in pre-production for 5 years, just with concept art and all of that sort of stuff. And then at E3 a couple of years ago, they released like a demo, which they said was, oh, this is all captured in game. And it was the first the devs had seen of it. So like all of the crowds were going, oh yeah, this is going to be this game. And the devs were going, oh crap, this is going to be the game. And then, yeah, they tried to kind of get it out the door in about a year and a half.
Because EA was just like, we need it.
It's not just EA,
I
it's
know that.
BioWare as well.
I know, because there's loads of bad management, and which is why a load of all the developers and the writers went, because they didn't like it anymore. Because it was kind of, you had BioWare Austin and BioWare Edmonton, and everyone that was in BioWare Austin just got shat on because they weren't BioWare, and it's like, yeah, you are, guys. And then, yeah, makes me sad. But by the sounds of it, because there was a guy that left and then came back, Dragon Age 4 had been shelved, but they didn't say anything. And it had kind of been resurrected when this one guy came back, and it was like, yeah, you can't get rid of that. But whether we get it or not, in the way that it was intended, is going to be difficult because of this whole in-game purchase thing and microtransactions. If they go for this whole live service thing that they've tried to do with Anthem and what EA love, it will destroy it. And you're going to have a bunch of very pissed off people because it's not what it's about.
Oh, I haven't seen Keza for a while since she's left, but Keza looks awesome.
Yeah, well, she was poorly for a little while.
She was
wasn't
poorly, yeah. One of my many, many, many work mums.
But I started, she worked for the child support agency, but her daughter started when I started. So I knew I was talking about this person, because I can't, Mullard is that. It's what they were just referred to as their surname. So he was going on about Mullard, but meaning her mum. No, mine. My mum.
I'm probably not going to sleep here tonight.
I'm casting a spell.
Okay.
I'm casting Animasis.
Okay.
What?
Tell me about this pub.
Do you want me to wait for Charlie to come back, or shall we kind of make a soft start? Soft start. So you suddenly realise that although you've never been here before, you feel like you've been here before because you've been told about it an awful lot of times by somebody, and I think you know who that person is, but I don't want to say out loud.
That person's not with us anymore.
And you know that the person to speak to in the pub will be Kaylee.
Okay.
And you've got a feeling that if you ask at the bar, they'll be able to point you in the direction of Kaylee.
Yep.
And they might be able to help set you on your way.
Okay. Okay.
So this goes back in the deck?
No, that's a Jones. Greenstone.
Sorry,
Greenstone.
Forget to keep it.
You've got that one.
I have, yeah.
That's why this is the copy that I need.
You sent me pictures of some stuff the other day.
Yeah.
Ah, that's comforting. 521.
I took a brief look, but I can't remember off the top of their head
Yeah,
what
some
they
of the
were.
new incantations from.
They look
They're all in the deck, so they're all.
Oh, yeah. Also, on the subject of pictures, yeah, Infinity does look rather good. Chris has got a lot of the models in the rule book. He's not got around to painting or playing any of them, but Yojimbo.
I don't want to paint stuff. Let me paint stuff.
They're not mine.
Oh,
And for some reason, on the jukebox, Yazoo comes on.
Isn't that a milkshake?
And a band. Am I thinking of Yazoo?
Erasure?
No, I don't think it's Erasure.
Yeah, it would have been Yazoo then.
Yazoo, yeah.
Same people, just different singer.
Pretty much.
I look around. Is everybody wearing suspiciously big shoulder pads?
Nope. It's the same eclectic mix of people as you'd
that
expect
we'd seen.
that you'd see in any kind of
Far
far town bar. Astraeus, I think at the end of the last session, you were talking to the hula girl that was on the end of the bar, and the bartender's kind of taken away your one sipped baby sham and cut you off.
That's okay. If there isn't any baby sham, you can always drink absinthe.
Astraeus and absinthe. No.
Are you asking the barman for some absinthe? The barman looks at you kind of incredulously and twirls his kind of comedic handlebar moustache, sighs and kind of like points in the corner, and in the corner of the room is a 6'6" drag queen dressed as a fairy. Absinthe is there.
Not what I was expecting for, but let's go.
Elbow Hawk could say, show's about to start.
And sit back as well.
Okay, absinthe. Hi, my name's Astraeus. Do you know where we are?
The drag queen looks an awful lot like Chris Rock. Not Chris Rock? Chris Tucker.
I can't remember what he looks like. Oh, that one. Oh, is your phone going off?
Turns around. Absinthe looks like they've got far more important people to talk to than you. Can you change his mind?
Can I change his mind?
Oh,
Do you want to know more?
Why do I?
Joy. Can I weave together joy and mental damage? That way, that's the quickest way I've got to someone's brain. Like. Yeah, I'd like to weave together joy and mental damage so I can get absinthe to like me, so
That
It can-
will actually be a damaging spell.
what?
Mental damage.
damage.
The damage bit is a clue.
Yeah, but
You're going to hurt his brain so that he likes you.
Teenage dating. You're gaslighting him. Them.
Gender. You will be my friend.
Is that literally your gambit? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
4-point weave.
Mm-hmm.
Probably want an extra dice on that.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Have some water, please. A 9 on the flux.
There's a flux.
Yeah, but I got a 9 on the success.
Yeah, but flux
And
is on
this
the dice.
This is kind of mental damage. This is the spell that you're doing.
There's also joy.
So basically, you've just trashed this person's mind, but they're so happy they don't care.
So this is a minor flux, yes?
Yeah, it's a 1 point.
I don't see what's wrong with this. Oh god, this isn't going to be good, is it? Yeah, and then maybe Absinthe can let us know where we are and what's going on and how to go. Because nothing holds Absinthe back.
Yeah, we're going with that one.
Okay.
So, do you think?
You will be my friend.
And Absinthe kind of like looks a little bit confused for a minute, and then kind of seems to warm to you. And then suddenly, everybody's drinks suddenly solidify in their hands, and all of the kind of crisps and bar nuts and stuff solidify, and all of the food and drink in the building has turned to marble. And the kind of like smile of, actually, yeah, it turns into a, what the hell have you done? And he goes to throw his drink in your face. So I want you to make a dodge roll.
What would that be?
Movement.
Movement.
Can I spend a penny?
You can spend a penny.
Five? And a penny?
Okay, yeah, so you managed to kind of move as though it was going to be a liquid, but it's not a liquid, and a chunk of marble in the shape of the kind of wine that they had in their wine glass comes flying out and hits you in the shoulder.
Oof.
Not enough to do any kind of like serious damage, but you're going to have a bruise there in the morning. And
Dent.
oh, sorry, yes, of course, dent.
Oh yeah, damn.
You're going to have a dent and somehow a bruise.
Phantom bruise.
Phantom limb pain. Your arm,
My-
wherever it is now, is bruised. And you're not sure how you know that, but you know that. You know deep down in the true that your actual arm has been bruised. In the true.
Just everyone accidentally dropped it.
Yeah, so you sense that your moment of kind of rapport has kind of gone, and things have turned icy.
Icy, marbly.
Well, marble's cold.
I'm just like, Australia's, come and sit down now.
Keepling really isn't my thing, is it?
No, it really isn't. I'll stay there and shut up.
I am surprised you didn't just walk up to go, hey baby, you want to kill other humans?
Is that Zach Brannigan?
No, but it was Futurama.
Okay.
It was one of the robots. I can't remember which one it was. Flexo, maybe.
Yeah. Are you going to go and save him, or shall I?
No, I've gone
gonna
grabbed
say?
him and just sit down and shut up.
All I wanted was a drink, and then I got pointed to this fairy person, and then everyone's drinks turned to
Things are-
marble.
Take me for a good time. I'm feeling so cold out right now.
What would happen back home, I'm guessing, will not happen here. This place is crazy and mental, so what you think might happen is not going to happen.
I'll go across to the bar person.
Mm-hmm.
Smile. Sorry about him. Do you have any way of undoing that? Because can we try and help? Or would it be better if we just take him out of here?
It's fine. This sort of thing happens before. I just need to go and clear the lines. Everything will be all right. The barman kind of holds up his hands like, easy guys, easy. This will all be sorted in a minute. And he sends one of the other bar staff down into the cellars, and that they're going to change the lines from all of the casks, which are now marble, to other casks, which are the regular booze and ale.
Don't suppose you know somebody called Katie, do you?
Obviously. Kaylee's always here.
Yeah?
Mm.
Is she here this evening? Sorry. I've been... Well, we've been advised that we need to speak to her.
He points you to a kind of back corner where there's a little booth with a table, and there's a woman sat behind it. And are you all going to go over together?
Not just yet.
Not just yet? Okay, so you are secrets, yes?
Yeah.
So you see that there's this kind of like old woman sat at the bar, kind of dressed in a sort of like an old sort of style. She's kind of got a scarf and, you know, a warty nose or whatever, and she's sat at the bar, and she's kind of like the stereotypical kind of working class grandmother with the bristly whiskers and the pint of lovage, sort of like sat there in the corner.
And that's her. Okay. Fantastic. I head back over to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you've dragged him.
Yeah, I've dragged him back.
Yeah. Let's try chatting up a drag queen.
And it went
He
very
turned
well.
all the drinks in the pub to marble.
I'm gonna give the Biona 100 crystal to say sorry, like before we leave,
Okay.
because that's a lot of drinks.
I pulled some knowledge down from the noosphere, and apparently that woman there is called Kaylee. We need to go and talk to her. So
Okay.
So you're all going to go to see Kaylee? So who else is secrets?
Me.
So you see this kind of like stereotypical old woman sat there. But you two are both mysteries. And you don't see an old woman. You see a very, very young woman, very attractive with like a big fur kind of stole and a little hat. And she's got a little glass of champagne in front of her.
Ooh. We don't know that,
So-
they can't see it.
yeah, no. So we need to speak to that old woman there,
What one?
the one at the end of the bar with the pipe.
Yeah, you see her. She looks like your grandmother.
What? No, that's a bit horrible. She's really young. Look, you can see it.
Okay.
What have you been taking?
I'll
Nothing.
use
Not
the
today.
sight
Mm-hmm.
just to see if she's a magical being or a human or a Fisley or a angel or a demon.
So you use the sight,
Yeah.
and this is exactly what you see.
Okay.
Do you want to maybe make perception checks or something else to see if you can
Yeah.
see what's going on?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll chuck a penny in there.
I've opened it as well.
So you're
0.
8.
All right.
you are a young woman.
Young one.
It's just a young woman, kind of like a kind of 1920s sort of socialite on the town, and that's all
Nice.
you can see. And you realise all of a sudden that at the same time she's an old woman and a young woman with a stout or with a glass of champagne, and you realise that you're looking at that.
Oh, what? That's a mine in one.
I feel like I know the picture that you're showing.
So you've seen the optical illusion of the
Yeah,
old woman and the
before.
young woman. This is the living embodiment of the young woman. Old
You know
woman.
what? I can only see the young one. I'm fine with that.
Hmm.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm gonna
Ooh.
play on a bit of a hunch. Silver Sun ability, my
Mhm.
forte ability to create a simple inanimate one-handed item.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do flowers? Bunch of flowers. Yep. Bunch of lavenders. And walk up and say, don't mean to interrupt. Are you Kaylee?
The head kind of looks up, and you know in Ghostbusters 2 at the end with the Vigo and the way it kind of walks across, and there's kind of like this after image, and you see the same sort of effect. All those you can see that the kind of the young woman's head turns, and then the old woman's head turns, and for a second they're kind of out of phase, and then they kind of become one, and depending on how you focus, it's one or the other. And she speaks to you, and camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. And she speaks to you, and you can all kind of hear that there's kind of two voices going on. One is this really kind of melodious, young kind of voice, and the other is a much harsher, wizened crone.
Oh, so they sound like the crones in Witcher.
She sounds like the crones from Brookback Bog. Or she sounds like Audrey Hepburn.
Or they're pretty versions when they've taken the spells. Oh my life. Those things are horrible.
I'm Kaylee.
I'll give her the flowers. We are looking for the drummer boy.
Oh, I thought you might be because of the flowers. I think you might know.
I've come to accept something. Do you know where he is?
Aye. In the middle. You need to go to the heart.
The heart of Lothian.
You need to go to the heart of Lothian.
Caliban. What's the heart of Lothian?
Could you draw us a map, please?
A map?
Or tell us how to get there.
Oh, there's no map. It changes. How did you get here?
Through the door, through the doors of perception.
And then where?
What did we do after that? And
So
then,
We went out, we went out the door,
and
and we
then
ended up in London.
and then
but not
on the
London.
street, the Forgotten Son. His doorbell said the Forgotten Son. And then we found a watch.
Yeah.
Which had.
Stoban has the Garmin Tactics GPS watch, which is currently going absolutely haywire.
Yeah.
At the moment, it seems to think that you're in Venice. You all right?
Yeah. Cold.
So how did you get here?
We walked through
Through where?
streets of not quite London.
Aye. The streets were different, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't all quite what you're expecting, were they?
Nope.
So if I gave you directions...
It'd be pointless.
But there is something you can do. There's a place that will take you right to it. Nice and simple. There's a train you can take.
Into the station nearby.
Maybe. She looks around at all of you. I've been here for a very, very long time. I can't remember when I wasn't here. And every time I try and leave, I just end up back where I am. So as you might imagine, I'm quite bored. So maybe you guys could entertain me for a little bit. She kind of sits back and kind of looks at her nails, and depending on which version of her you're seeing, she's either admiring her perfectly manicured nails, or she's looking at broken, kind of dirt encrusted sort of nails.
Well, I'm only seeing the young one, so yeah.
Do you want to play a game?
I'm up for it.
A game of riddles?
What are the sticks?
I mean, I was more hoping like chess,
Bro!
Yeah.
maybe a bit of laser tag.
Stove, I'll just ask what are the stakes?
Well, If you win, I'll give you a ticket and I'll tell you how to get to the station.
Is that
And if we
each
lose,
or just one ticket?
And if you lose, you'll end up staying here.
Great.
do you know if we lose, you end up being stuck with us.
And you've seen the damage he can do already.
All the more entertainment for me. Like I say, I've been here for a very long time.
Okay, I say we give it a go, but it's a ticket for everyone, right?
No trickery.
Not going there again.
So, riddle me this. When I get them back up in front of me. I'm going to ask you 3 riddles. Each will be more difficult than the last. Once you give me an answer, you can't go back. But because the nice one here brought me some flowers, I'm going to be kind and I'm going to let you discuss your answers before you give them. So, let's start with a nice simple one. What gets broken without being held?
My will to live.
Oh no! You've just answered.
No, that's what I'm suggesting to my friends.
Oh, it sounded an awful lot like an answer to me, dearie.
No, just an idea. Just an idea.
Can you make I need a list of the skills in front of me. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head.
What was
It's going to be an interaction
riddle again?
check, I think.
Yeah.
What gets broken without being held?
There isn't really a massive skills list,
Bank account.
but interaction.
Yeah. Can you make an interaction?
Yeah.
Interaction's the
The kind
Ben April.
Yeah.
So like persuasion or diplomacy.
Yeah, if you've
or
got persuasion or diplomacy, you can use one of those, but if not,
Ability to
just an
write
interaction
this.
pool check.
diplomacy, Astraeos.
I mean, medium close combat counts as diplomacy, right?
Are you going to pick a fight with the young old
No.
woman?
Would theoretical mathematics help me here?
No.
Can't really justify a point of hidden knowledge.
Potentially, you're going to get stuck in this pub. Now might be a time for hidden knowledge.
Yeah, but I don't know how to justify it. What would
I'm
help?
going to throw you a sort of
How to talk to women, the women you've talked to in the past, do you have knowledge about talking to women sometimes?
Yeah, if you take that.
Mhm.
Nine and one.
Okay.
Point of hidden knowledge and a Benny.
You see the young woman, don't you?
Yeah.
You start to see some kind of weird, kind of. Just for a second, it looks like it's not a young woman. But she kind of smiles a little bit and she says, I think I like you, you troublemaker.
Thank you, I like you too.
The next time you address me with an answer, I'm going to take that as an answer.
So keep your mouth shut, Astraeus, until you know.
Talk amongst yourselves.
sounds like you're.
Yours makes no sense. I'm crap at riddles.
Unless it's knowledge, or it's probably more motive.
So what was your...
Heart.
She smiles.
That's creepy. I live with that face.
He's a canny one for a soldier. Congratulations. You passed the first test. The second test, what is my favourite colour? No. The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
Oh, I think I know.
What do you reckon?
I think it might be time.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
So I'm shit at riddles. So I agree with those guys.
So you're going for
Time.
for you. You see the kind of like old face kind of becoming a little bit more prominent, and you're really freaked out by this because previously you've been looking at a young kind of socialite.
Hey, Botty.
Oh no 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 no! You took many of them to get here, and you've left all of them in your wake. Footsteps. Oh, down to the final riddle.
Is it best out of 2 out of
It's
3?
it is a best of 3. Oh, it's crashed.
I'd have a word with whoever sold you that phone.
Yeah. He's a bit
No,
dodgy,
it's the
bit suspect.
the website is a bit of a pain. It's in a weird format.
Latvian.
Wingdings.
Oh!
No, things.
Comic Sans.
I love Comic Sans.
So she looks at each of you. Only one colour, but not one size. Stuck at the bottom, yet I easily fly. Present in sun, but not in rain. Doing no harm, and feeling no pain. What am I?
Oh, I'm gonna have to actually physically see that to like you.
Sorry, only one colour.
Yeah.
Only one colour, but not one size. Stuck at the bottom, yet I easily fly. Present in sun, but not in rain.
Slow
Doing
down.
no harm, but feeling no pain.
Only one colour,
No.
but not. But no one size. Yeah.
Only one colour, but not one size.
But
Stuck
not
at the
one
bottom,
But easily fly.
but easily flies. Present in sun.
Stop. Stuck at the bottom, but
10 points from
Easily
Gryffindor.
sorry, I can't. Brain not coping with what the fuck I'm
okay,
doing.
okay.
Doing no harm.
And feeling no pain. What am I?
I don't remember what you said. So.
Okay, only one colour,
Yes.
but not one
Do you want to
size.
look at Ross's one?
Because that's Ross's.
Stuck at the bottom,
Yeah.
but I easily fly.
Yeah.
Present in sun, but not in rain.
Mm-hmm.
Doing no harm, and feeling no pain. What am I? Take your time, dearies.
This is how much messed up my brain is. As I put the S the back way around, and when I wrote easily, I crossed the L with a made it look like a T.
Eastleigh.
Size, yeah, put the S backwards.
Oh, I enjoy this bar.
Really pissed off the patrons, man.
If you can think of a way you could use some or any of your skills, you might be able to get some clues,
So
not necessarily from Kaylee, but
like intellect
Actually,
or in and
I know what I'd like to do. I'd like to give an orb to the guy behind the bar. Give everyone a shot. Like, right, we need to figure out what this riddle is.
You're going to enlist the entire bar.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to have to make a diplomacy check. Have you got diplomacy?
No.
Well, it's just going to be an interaction test.
Yeah, I'm still going to change that to all one instead of two. Do I get any added bonus because I'm buying everyone drinks?
The fact that you're buying everyone drinks is why they're even listening to you in the first place. You've turned their last round into marble.
Marble's quite nice. I didn't see any problem with marble. So, interaction. So Benny. I'm pretty sure Spirit has read a book on how to please crowds, and
How to make friends and influence people.
he's read Mein Kampf. It's fine.
Roll away.
Can I
I'll
spend
just
a,
let you think of that one.
can I spend a sortilege as well, please?
You may spend a sortilege.
So
So you're after
Benny sortilege, pointed knowledge.
you're after a 6.
Can I take a drink from your flask? Does that give any bonus?
Three and two.
So the bartender graciously takes your crystal and says, "Well, that'll about cover the business that you've just lost me with your last little bit. I'm not asking around for these guys. It's your riddle. You solve it."
Will secrets help? So like taking like an intellect test or an end of like perception. So is there something here that is close to whatever the answer would be?
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to take an intellect test.
So you're doing the intellect test first.
Do you guys think it might be the lady? Don't see why she'd go out on a rainy
6.
day.
So you have a think. Nothing immediately springs to mind. That's going to kind of like give you a clue as to what she's talking about. There's something sort of at the edge of your brain, but if you kind of like push at it, it kind of like disappears.
So I would like to do perception. And use a point of hidden knowledge.
Okay.
Because of the thought that I've. So, 7, 8, 9.
So you can't quite put your finger on what it is, but there's something that's kind of there that's telling you that whatever it is quite common, and if you look around, you'll be able to see it pretty much everywhere in the bar. Trying to think of clues that I can give you based on your rolls that aren't just telling you what the answer is.
Are there people smoking in the bar?
There are people smoking in the bar.
I was thinking either glass or mirrors.
I don't think it's mirrors. There are mirrors about mirrors. Part of me thinks that it's smoke. Part of me. Can I make a intellect?
No. Glass seems to be really stuck with me.
Because you rolled a 9,
Yeah,
you know it's definitely not glass.
that's definitely not.
Can I try make a roll for intellect to figure it out?
You make an intellect roll.
So I will go point of sortilege for an extra dice, point of intellect for +1 to my venture, and a point of hidden knowledge, because my can has plenty. So I've got +2. Pair of 7s.
You
So that's the same kind of level as I'm kind of thinking that it's smoke.
because you've made it to smoke. Caliban starts thinking about smoke and looking around, and then realizes something that is there. The things that make the smoke have got it. The smoke itself doesn't necessarily have it. And then you remember that before you were back in Old Town, where all of you lived.
Shadow. Present in sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing no harm and feeling no pain.
Yeah. I kind of look around, and then there's bar lights. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a shadow then.
Oh, very well done, dearie. Very well done. Aye, it's a shadow. Something I think all of you know something about. Well, this has been fun. Feel free to pop back whenever you like. But I am a lady of my word. And she reaches into, depending on your point of view, either a tatty old kind of like house coat that's kind of stained and you're not really sure what colour it is, or a very expensive kind of fur coat with, you know, lavishness.
Silk lining and
Yeah, the silk lining with all sorts of stuff. And from inside her pocket, she pulls out a golden ticket, very similar to something that you've seen from Willy Wonka, and she hands it to you.
Okay.
That will grant you all passage on the train.
And the train will take us where we need to go.
The train will take you to the heart of Lothian.
Where do we catch the train from?
She points to kind of like the fire door of the hotel and says, "Go through that door, keep to the left, and you'll be there in no time."
Trying to come with us.
Oh, but I've tried.
Oh, you'll come in then, mate.
She kind of nods and smiles sagely and turns back to her loved champagne.
Lavaine? Shanage?
Shanage. She turns back to her shanage.
It's like
And
a
a
sandwich.
sandwich.
It's like a sandwich.
She has shanage and a sandwich.
Well, thank you. It's been fun.
Okay, so you're heading to...
Just before I leave, I'm kind of leaning close to her and I'll say, "He didn't forget you."
She looks for a second like she's going to say something, and then she kind of thinks better of it and kind of blinks a few times and says, "I thought as much. I think that's why I'm here."
We need to leave very quickly.
Okay.
Kind of tip a salute to the bartender and to Knights that was
Just
set at
push
the
her straight
table.
outside of it. You're going there.
The bartender looks kindly at three of you and kind of scowls. "I said when you came in I don't serve your kind here."
You did.
I really did.
Reckless badooks.
So you're heading out of the
Yeah.
kind of fire door. So you go through the door,
Keep to the
and
left.
again, as with all of the doors that you've been going through here, you feel that strange kind of disconcerting, kind of almost vertigo feeling, and you kind of hear that strange sort of chiming noise, and you get a kind of coppery taste in your mouth. And when you open the door and you look through it, it was just kind of like a normal sort of back alley like you'd expect to see outside of any kind of pub or club or whatever. But once you've gone through the door, you're not in a back alley anymore. You're on the Sunset Strip in Las Vegas.
Sweet. But keep to the left, guys.
Yeah.
Grab him by the arm, then lead off. Say, no talking to the wildlife.
Yeah. So whereas when you were walking around London, everybody kind of looked at you but didn't really see you, here in Vegas, everybody's looking at you and does see you, but it's Vegas, so they don't care.
This place is amazing, but we can't stop. I say we keep going until we come across the train station or whatever it is we're looking for.
Okay, so you start walking down the strip, and it only takes you a few minutes, and you get to where the big fountains are outside the Bellagio, and you kind of walk towards the fountains, and then you feel that same kind of disconnected, vertigo sort of feeling, and then you're in the fountains by the Louvre.
Paris?
Keep to the left.
Keep on going. Can you feel if we're actually being teleported, or is this the world changing around us?
Can I feel that?
Yeah, you can make a sorcery check. Make a check as though you were trying to teleport, but you're not gonna teleport.
4 will do. Since it's a practice weave.
It's not a magic dice though.
Yeah, that's a 0. Actually, no, I'd roll a
Zero's
magic.
good.
I'd roll a
Zero
magic dice if I was teleporting, wouldn't I?
Isn't 0 10?
No,
No.
0 is 0.
They're 0 to 9.
Oh.
I got 9 on the magic dice.
The other way around would be bad.
You realise that it's not so much that you're teleporting, it's more like
The world folding around us.
with your knowledge from Shadow, with
Yeah.
Professor Hawking and all of the theoretical physics, this is very much like how it would be if you were in a singularity. So essentially, you're everywhere at once.
But also, not really anywhere.
And you think that's why your teleporting didn't work beforehand, because to teleport from one place to another place,
I need to be in
you've
one
got
place.
to be in a place, whereas you are everywhere. It's like in Star Trek, if they do warp too much, it starts unpicking the fabric of space-time. So you keep to the left. So you walk along a little bit further, and you get to where the kind of glass pyramid is outside the Louvre, and you feel the same kind of disconcerting rush. And then this will test everybody's memory. You realise you're on the Isle of Sodor. Does anybody know where that is?
Yeah, it's Thompson's Tank Engine. It's just off the other way.
There you are. You're on
Oh
the Isle
no,
of
this
Sodor.
is really scary because it'd be Thomas the Tank Engine in real life and they'd have real faces on them.
But you are at a train station. And you see a little blue train, thankfully without a face, pulled at the stop and ready to go, with 2 carriages behind it.
Annabelle and I can't remember the other one.
It's the fat controller there.
The Sir Topham Hatt.
Not allowed to call him the Fat Controller.
Well, my one is the fat controller.
No, there is no fat controller there.
Mr. Topham Hat is his
Is there
official
a-
name. Fat controller is his
there a-
party name.
God, to
Yeah,
like
there's
check the ticket.
a guardsman there. He's kind of like having a chat to the driver. The driver's dressed in kind of old-fashioned kind of grey coveralls and the hat, and the guard is dressed in a kind of Victorian-style turn-of-the-century uniform. Very,
Is it
very,
okay
very
to jump
smart.
up?
Oh yes. Oh, we haven't had any passengers here for quite some time. He pulls an old-fashioned pocket watch out and he looks at it, and you see that the hour hand is moving backwards and the minute hand is moving forwards, and the second hand is kind of oscillating wildly one way or another. But you're just in luck because we're about to set off.
Thought that might do.
How
That is a
fortunate.
wonderful clock.
It just tells the time, just like any other clock.
That's amazing.
Are you right in the head, lad?
No.
I was going to push him on
Oh!
the train. Get on the train.
Well, that's that conversation done then. So you climbing aboard,
Yep.
and you hear the guard crying out all aboard, who's coming aboard? And the platform is absolutely deserted and there's nobody else there. And so the doors close and the train sets off.
Oh, cool. This means, because there's no one on board, we get to go in first class. No, we
There's only 2 carriages. It's not really particularly first class.
And
A
it's
cleaner
benches.
carriage.
It's benches. It's not like fancy chairs.
we get to go in the cleaner carriage.
They're both equally clean. You notice that it's kind of like a spotless, idyllic almost train.
I know that's most often used for motor driving, but and suddenly
It's the Thomas the
Oh, it
Tank
is a
Engine
Thomas the
theme.
Tank Engine theme.
No, it's the old Thomas the Tank Engine tune, the real one.
Yeah,
Not this
it's
one.
not that pain in
What?
the...
There's a new Thomas the Tank Engine
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah, and it's all CGI and
It's bad.
It's supposed to be Ringo Starr.
yeah, it hasn't been Ringo Starr for a while.
I thought maybe it wasn't, but no, I don't like change.
Neither does his vending machine.
So you're sat in the train, and it's kind of chugging along quite merrily, and it's it's a steam train, and
And
it's
the bridges, over
yeah.
bridges to our destination.
Are there sheep?
Jeff Bridges.
Are there sheep to the field?
There are sheep in the field. There's it's all very pleasant. You're almost in the current kind of Great Western adverts with the famous 5.
Oh, right.
It's very pleasant and it's very, very lovely.
Like a mad on mescaline.
Pretty much. But then you get to the first tunnel.
Please don't you be doing some Willy Wonka shit on me.
I believe if I look at my notes,
Did you
Do
write
some Willy Wonka shit.
the words Willy Wonka is written right here.
I'd like to take a quick action just to refill my
Because there's that
saucer.
meme going around at the moment.
Yeah, you can
It's like,
take it.
when I
take
was a
quick
kid,
action.
this and the Willy Wonka thing scared me. Now death and the Willy
Yeah.
Wonka thing scares me.
So outside the window, it's like the boat ride in Willy Wonka. There's all sorts of flashing lights and surreal images, including chickens being beheaded for some bizarre reason. And you're not entirely sure, but you're pretty sure you can hear Gene Wilder's voice in
Only
the background.
Gene Wilder knew what was happening. The rest of them didn't. So that was all genuine. Like,
Yeah. I would like all of you to make a. Which one is it for the psychological damage?
Intellect.
Yeah.
Withstand, I thought.
Withstand.
Oh, withstand. Yeah.
You'll make me some withstand rolls, please.
but I'm
6.
guessing because I don't have withstand as a skill.
Just a standard roll.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put an intellect banana in it then.
Can we sort of
Neuf Philomon.
Oh,
6?
Caliburn, who's used to all sorts of weird, jumpy, travel-y, teleporty malarkey,
I only managed to do it once.
but seems to be a little bit more au fait with the kind of hellscape that's going on around you. But the rest of you all take 1.
whoa. We're only 1 point away on the dice.
Is that? I have one
You
in here.
needed a 9. So that's 1
Despair.
Anguish. Mental.
anguish.
There's mental damage, isn't anguish.
Mental damage.
There's no tokens for
No,
it.
tokens. So you all take 1
How do we
anguish.
record it?
You should have a
There's a chat box.
chat box on
We can
page
write
2,
it.
I think.
That's my anguish.
Can we spend intellect to?
You may spend intellect to negate it.
I should spend intellect point to negate it.
Well, you'll
You
find
didn't need to.
Oh, if I
Yeah,
didn't
you'll
need to,
find
didn't
it.
need to.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
I'm going to spend a get with that. Let's make all these dice fit. Raise me the
That was my favourite thing when I was about 3.
I'm a bit sad because Thomas the Tank Engine always makes me think of my nan.
Yeah.
You sit and watch Thomas the Tank Engine.
You watch Ivor the Engine.
Yeah, I had a book.
I had a book.
I'm gonna have
With
My
about the
dad,
dragon.
brilliant
But
voices.
with the dragon.
With
Yes.
And the egg.
Yes.
And then there's the snow and the plows.
and there was
I remember that.
what was it? I can't remember his name now. Whatever the engine.
Because he's bad.
Something the smoke or something like that was the engineer. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
Either the engine, the little engine that could.
He was green.
It was green. And that's where I get the expression, oh, his brain is powered by the little engine that couldn't.
Yeah, I've still got that book in storage somewhere.
And then I put it out. Get the phrase that she would look like.
Yeah. Yeah, because they found an egg and they put it in his thing and it turns out to be a dragon. I think that's why I like dragons, because of that.
That was Ivor the Engine.
Yeah.
That did the best voices.
Oh, I can totally imagine that. That'd be cool.
So after our crappy Mother's Day, we had a water fight and then watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which she'd never seen before. Couldn't quite pronounce the first time around, so it's Chilly Chilly Bang Bang.
What
And then she's like,
Sure.
"It's Grandad." It is Grandad.
Yeah. Correct.
So you come out of the Willy Wonka tunnel and the carriage around you has completely changed and now it's like a kind of modern intercity and you don't have the kind of reassuring steam train noises. It's a modern kind of, diesel electric locomotive and the landscape has changed completely and it's now kind of like an urban sprawl, like you were going through the middle of a city, and then you get to another tunnel and the process all starts again, but you're prepared for it this time with the Willy Wonka nastiness. You come through the tunnel on the other side and you're in one of the really old kind of carriages like Murder on the Orient Express, where there's kind of like individual sort of carriages and you're all boxed into one of them. But now the train seems an awful lot bigger and longer and you start to almost see other people kind of like they're almost like a kind of with old Polaroid pictures, as the image started to come in, and these people all look like they're partially developed but not quite there then, and it's like you can almost hear sort of conversations going on.
Is Poirot there?
Poirot is not there, although you do suspect that 12 people are planning to stab Astraeus.
Only 12?
I think it was 12 in Murder on the Orient Express, I'm not sure.
I'm doing good, that's less than...
It's less than normal. I am growing up in the world.
Cool. Is there any other trains, tunnels or anything?
You go through a few more tunnels sort of on your journey, and you realise that you might be on the train for a little while. But each time you go through the tunnel, when you come through on the other side, the train has changed. And so one minute you're on a high-tech kind of Japanese bullet train, and then you're on a kind of rubbish branch line train that smells of damp and wet feet, that's kind of juddering along. And then the next minute,
Cowstock.
I was just about to say the train together's like.
and then the next minute you're on a kind of monorail where the train is kind of like hanging from it. And each time you go through a tunnel, the scenery outside changes. One minute it's a kind of pristine lake, and then the next minute it's some sort of Mordor kind of horrible sort of hellscape. Until eventually the train sort of slows down, and once again it's Thomas the Tank Engine, and it pulls into a station with a sign simply saying Heart of Lothian, and night has fallen and it's quite dark. You can't really see beyond the station, and it's kind of like one of those rural sort of stations.
Oh,
So
is it like we've just turned up at Hogwarts station? Like in the middle of the North York Moors.
It wasn't, but it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of like an old sort of station, which is just kind of like 50 metres of platform with a kind of like brick facade.
Yeah, that's
And
totally
just
is
a
it.
little sign that says Heart of Lothian and a couple of kind of low wattage sort of bulbs.
Yeah.
And the conductor kind of comes through and all change this service. You don't like the way he said terminates.
Loosen my sword in its scabbard and then. Right,
So,
I gotta find some white boys.
yeah. The Heart of Lothian. Do you know what it is or what we're looking for?
Everything we've come across, or many of the things we've come across, are references to songs,
Yeah.
or references to Marillion songs.
Right, okay. Yeah, Kaylee's my knowledge of Marillion.
Oh, the only album I know is Fear.
Yeah.
I think you've touched on it right there,
Yeah,
Thomas.
yeah, the most recent one. So fuck everyone and run.
Yeah.
And the drummer boy is the consistent thing, and Forgotten Sons was one of the songs. The thing is, Season's End was one of their songs, but he wasn't in the pub.
Anyone else?
Let's go find him.
Let's go find him.
Has he still got the cowbell?
So you go out and you start following the sound of the drums, and it's kind of dark and you can't really see, but it's kind of a countryside sort of area. It's a little bit sort of like rural and tucked away from everywhere, and you can see a kind of faint, almost eldritch light, a little bit like the ones that you were seeing when you first arrived in the alleyway, and everything was kind of giving off a sort of unnatural light. But as you get closer, you see that the sat on a kind of stone, as he was when you first saw him, is the drummer boy.
I'm gonna be like, hey, we found you again.
So he looks up, and you see the same boy that you've already seen, but just like when you saw him at his flat, he seemed a little bit older than the first time you've seen him. When you see him now, he looks a little bit older again, and now that he looks kind of like a sort of like early 20s sort of thing, and you kind of recognise almost the face. Oh, it's you lot again. Have you figured it out yet?
Oh,
Aye.
Yeah.
And he kind of pulls,
Told you'd be back.
just like the album cover,
Yeah.
and he's kind of pulling his face, and underneath you see the Harlequin as you knew him, but in the middle of his head there is a hole. There is something missing.
His soul that he's got in his house.
No, he doesn't have his soul in his house. He's got his body in his house.
Yeah. But whatever he did to his mind.
So he looks at all of you, and his kind of like glare kind of like ends on Astreus.
Hello, mate.
Don't you call me mate. I know what you did. How do you like being in my world?
It's interesting.
It's terrifying, and if this is where you've sent him, we need to take him out.
You learnt your lesson yet?
Don't you talk to me about lessons, boy.
Can't be going around killing my friends.
Can't I? Because I think you'll find I did. And it was easy.
But why? Why did you do that?
A job's a job. I'm a professional.
Who asked you to?
I'll refer you to my previous statement about being a professional. The way I see it, I've got nothing to lose. Why should I tell you anything? I'm stuck here. You're stuck here. Unless you've got the key.
I've got a wicked key.
Huh?
Got a wicked key.
None of that pish. Something powerful. Something you brought with you. I can feel it.
And if we do have that key and you want to come back with us, who did it?
It's a hate.
Oh no.
Well, you're staying here and we will go.
How?
I have it in my pocket. I'm pretty certain of that.
So you look. Are you going to look to check that you've got it?
Oh shit, I know what that is.
What?
This goes in the missing space in it.
To get out,
You have to
you've
come.
got to go in.
So we have to climb inside his head.
No, do you know? This slot's in there. And it's the only way out. I don't know what it does exactly, but that's what it does.
What is it again?
Do you know the part of the meteor, the hate cyst that was Roland's,
Alright.
was drawn into him, is Harlequin. And he's missing.
Roland did say that we had to destroy it or take it away from him.
We'll give it back to where it belongs. It's the only way, I guess, isn't it?
Hang on. That's the last part of you. What happens if we destroy that?
We're stuck in here.
There won't be
This
a
is
kid
his-
stuck in.
This is his world. Wouldn't we just dissolve out into our own?
What
Or disappear
was
entirely.
the spell that you cast on him?
Total perspective.
Vortex.
So you're not really in his world. You're everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you realise that's why you've been feeling that strange kind of nauseous disconnect. That's why the scenery keeps changing everywhere, because you are everywhere.
That'd be a bit messy, wouldn't it?
So without doing that, without returning this to Harlequin, there is no way we're getting home. Because if we destroy this, gone.
Is that the only orb we've got with us?
The other one we've got plain doesn't do anything. It just
It's your one.
yeah.
Mm. He's not interested in that.
Because it's
Nothing. It's just a
like,
lump of rock.
what? Do you have yours with you, or is it in your
Soup.
I don't know.
house or flat?
It's probably my house.
Yeah.
We could put mine in it and see if that does anything, because he doesn't know that we've got the other one. Or what it looks like.
I have a feeling he knows.
He knows you know.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Nah,
I hate
he's
it.
got problems.
But if it's what we're going to have to do to escape, without it being too messy.
But
Don't
I-
spray us to one side.
I don't like this. I don't like that we don't know. That's
You owe me a favour. Make it so you make sure I get through. It'll be even.
I don't like this. Not knowing why and who was behind why Mark died. That's the booking. Or he's
No, we
not-
know it was him and he did it for money.
Yeah, but someone paid him to do it. It was a contract, so someone asked him to take that colour. No, it wasn't that, was it? There was something else. I can't remember. That's kind of ugly now.
You may have got unfinished business.
Aye, so we do. But as I'm feeling magnanimous, get us out of here. We'll discuss this on another day.
And this business is between me and you, not these three.
And him.
But you know why he did what he did, because you hurt his friend. Whether it was for money or not, it was the wrong thing to do.
Miss, I'm not exactly going to take ethics lectures from a drug dealer.
Hey, it's for a good cause.
How do you know what I did wasn't?
Well, then why not tell us then?
He kind of like smiles a really kind of smug, self-satisfied smile and kind of leans back a little bit on the rock.
So the contract's a contract, your opinion's irrelevant. Not technically a marine lyric, but it's a fish lyric.
Mm. To get out, you go in.
How do we go in?
I'm okay with going in wherever or whatever the hell it is, but I'm not happy with why you did what you, not knowing why you did what you did.
Believe it or not, Missy, your happiness is the least of my concerns. Do I need to draw you a diagram? I think you know what you need to do. You remember as well that when you first saw the drummer boy, when he was the little boy, and he did mention that the thing that you had was the key.
Yeah, no, I know that, and I know what it is. We've got to put that in you.
Aye.
You're not doing it, I'm doing it.
Fine.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Out of pocket, because I put it back in. And then...
There is another really wrenching feeling of nausea, and you get the coppery taste very, very clear. And you hear the sound of chimes. It's Hawaiian, isn't it? And then all of a sudden, you're all back in the rows, in the lounge, with your hand on the door.
Because I was about to hold it, yeah.
Is Harlequin with us?
Harlequin is not with you.
I'm going to
Okay.
teleport home.
Okay.
He wouldn't get that reference.
No. Hang on.
Ding.
Wouldn't get that one either. Watch proper television.
So it's a practiced weave.
Yeah.
Meaning I
No,
can,
no, let's...
meaning I can cast that
Love.
with 5 or just 4.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of a shit fell off. No one likes
Captain's log, a bunch of our ship fell off, and nobody likes me.
Means break the shunt drive.
Captain's log, lost my
8 and
2
1?
girdle and can't leave my room. Hang on. So you're teleporting straight home?
Yeah.
To the
To
place
home.
where you left Harlequin?
Yeah.
He's not there. And where he was, you can see there's been a small sort of kind of fire, almost like a little explosion of kind of energy, and you see the same kind of colours that were in the bit of the hate cyst are kind of scorched into the area around it. Harlequin is long gone. Make an intellect check for me.
Okay. Can I get the spiders around my house to help me? Because I can speak to spiders.
Yeah.
So point of intellect.
Mm-hmm.
Point of sortilege.
You got something to do with the hate.
And does Marvin know anything?
He's not in the room.
8 and 7.
So Marvin comes along. Yes.
Did you see Harlequin? Did he go? Did he leave? Where did he go?
When am I ever allowed in here?
Clean up.
Well, it was clean last time.
Oh.
Oh, thanks, Marvin. Brain the size of a planet. Keep my lab tidy. Oh.
Did you see Harlequin go? Yes or no?
No.
Gonna have to check the spiders then.
Turning into Kevin.
He did turn into Kevin. Oh, I hate you, it's so unfair. You don't get that reference.
The
do you?
irony is the only one that truly lives that right now. It's Thomas.
The spiders all get together. Who's seen Lucas the spider?
I love Lucas looks for spider.
Hi.
I don't do spiders apart from
You've
Lucas.
seen Lucas the spider. Oh. So what did you win?
Did you see Harlequin go? Did he go?
One of the little
Wait.
legs kind of points in the direction. Little leg guy?
Yeah.
Oh, like in Dragon Ball Z. And then, it was so cool. It was over 9,000.
Oh!
Sid the John Leguizamo playing Sid the Sloth the Spider.
Oh, it kind of is. Yeah, the kind of the rest of the spiders all kind of like yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely exploded in fire and disappeared. But yeah, you kind of piece together that you know, based on what the spiders kind of did see, that not only did Harlequin wake up and go, but he's kind of not just Harlequin anymore.
He's levelled up.
I have Harlequin. I have a racist. Hit it, Harlequin.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody in the rows.
And the irony is he hates you, so that hate cyst is being fueled by the power of hatred for what you did to him.
Meanwhile, the guys that are still in the rows hear the sound of the kitchen door open, and Eliana comes out with a tray of scotch. Weren't you guys going?
I go to open the door and see if anything happens when we open it, just in case.
You open the door, and it's Fartam, and Beano's is opposite, and it's kind of starting to get to sort
Where
of
were we going before we
evening crowd.
left? I can't remember.
We were going to take the
Destroy Roland.
Palantir
right.
into the blasted lands and smash it. I'm going to go across to Beano's and they do a coffee run.
Mm-hmm.
I want biggest, sweetest unicorn frappuccino you can find.
So you go and get the coffees and kind of bring them back over to the rows, and you sit down, and Roland kind of comes out of the kitchen and looks around at everybody. Well, what's happened? And here endeth the session. So, good news, you got out.
No one died.
Good news, you've got rid of the hate cyst.
Have we though? Have
Bad news, yeah.
But that's a problem for tomorrow.
But that's a problem for Astreus of the future. Astreus of the now is alive with WD-40.
Hey, what he does in his private time is his own thing.
we?
I was going to make a joke about squeaking, but I'm not going to. It's fine. So yeah. So post-game wrap-up. How do you think this whole adventure has affected Caliban? And is she any closer to any of her?
Astreus did say that if I got him out, my debt to him would be cancelled and resolved.
Is Caliban going to accept that as her getting him out?
No. And the other thing is the fact that the only reason why I had to a debt to Astreus was because Harlequin was dead.
Don't worry.
Harlequin is now no longer dead. I'm at a bit of a loose end about that. I believe that's...
He'll be dead, don't worry.
You've tried killing him once already.
No. I tried hurting him.
You did hurt him. The problem is he knows about it.
And he's pissed off. He is now a hate cyst.
I'll
And
just
his
send
hate
him
is
back when I
fueled by
can.
the hatred of you.
Will you though?
I'm not sure you will be able to. So I think that arc has developed a little bit. It's kind of gone a bit more wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. My other arcs, joining an organisation that will have me, make my mark and maybe son.
I don't know.
No?
You seem to have bonded quite well with the Order.
And you...
What, these guys?
Mm.
Okay.
Whatever.
But is that bonding with them as representatives of the Order Anisoptera, or bonding with them as the Quartet and representatives of the Rose?
Order of the Rose at the moment, I'd say. So, what are you thinking? Bitter despair, I think.
A little bit of despair, yes.
Strauss, how's this gone for you? How many despair are left in the drawer?
Because you're getting them all, boy.
So there's a section in there for relationships, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. You've now got a mortal enemy.
A nemesis.
Oh, it's already got Harlequin, and there's
NPC
just
bonds
like
and connections.
Ta-da!
Yeah, that goes from ta-da to mortal enemy.
no to die.
Ta-da!
But Harlequin's gonna do it slow. He's gonna, go around to your house every day and just set all of your clocks back by 3 minutes.
Oh,
Not
no.
enough so that you'd notice instantly, but after a week or so, you were gonna be so late.
You didn't notice on Monday that the clocks have gone back.
Oh,
Yeah, it kind of messed me over a little bit.
I'm guessing a bit of despair for you as well.
The despair.
Any further along on any of your?
I might be a bit closer to my spider wolf since they've been looking at my house, looking after, and I talk to them.
The last element of the spider weave that he needs to learn is about spirit. Whether or not
This is whether it's my spirit or not.
he's
Harlequin's
unravelled
spirit.
that by spending a short period of time inside Harlequin's head.
Yeah. Although you were in the total
Yeah,
personality vortex for what seemed like, a few hours, the best part of the day, absolutely no time has actually elapsed.
well,
How could the
well,
perspective thing have happened in perception?
Hmm?
You were witnessing Roland and spend time with Scotch eggs and things.
Oh, you know what? We're gonna find.
Because in the total perspective vortex, you see the past and the future and the present all jumbled up.
Well, we'll be finding spirit soon, and it's gonna be what's left of Harlequins. And you know what? I'm gonna kill it.
that is a spirit I'm not sure I wish to allow inside.
How about Snowboard? Any further along?
One of my paths was about identifying haters and the second step was opposing them. I feel like I've almost gone backwards because we've created something that is.
Welcome to Despair Country. Is nobody happy that you got out alive?
I am very happy I got out alive, but I have too much joy, so.
Oh, and the last one there. Any further along on any of your?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So yeah,
That was awesome.
hope you enjoyed. I'm not sure if enjoyed is the right word, but
Enjoyed. Definitely enjoyed.
The hype is up. The hype is up. I'm looking forward to